On November 14, 1981, reports began circulating about the discovery of a cave containing a significant deposit of diamonds. What should have been a remarkable discovery would soon escalate into an attempted kidnapping and a carefully planned fraud. Investigators would later identify the suspect as a known offender, the wizard Gargamel. This is the case of Gargamel's big diamond scam. Before investigators could fully understand the attempted exchange, attention turned to the individual who arranged the meeting. The suspect was a known offender, the wizard Gargamel. Records describe Gargamel as an alchemist living near the region, with a documented history of attempting to capture Smurfs through traps, deception, and manipulation. Previous attempts had consistently failed. But during this incident, Gargamel became aware of something new. The Smurfs had discovered a deposit of diamonds. To humans, the stones were extremely valuable, and once Gargamel realized the Smurfs possessed them, investigators believe he began looking for a way to obtain them. A direct attack had already failed, so instead of force, Gargamel appears to have chosen deception. Investigators would later determine that Gargamel soon changed his approach. Recovered footage shows the wizard encountering several Smurfs in the forest. Instead of attacking them, he released them from traps and even assisted others who had fallen into danger. One witness would later testify that he never believed Gargamel had truly changed.
Something about it didn't feel right. Gargamel pretending to help Smurfs? That wizard has spent years trying to capture us. When Gargamel starts acting generous, it usually means he wants something in return.
Investigators would later determine that Papa Smurf's suspicions were correct. Gargamel's behaviour was not an act of kindness. It was part of a carefully planned deception. Unbeknownst to the Smurfs, the wizard had already begun preparing the next stage of his plan. Recovered footage from the forest appears to show the suspect revealing his intentions while he believed no one was watching.
If they won't take me to the diamonds, then I'll make them bring the diamonds to me.
And with that, the wizard approached Clumsy Smurf in the forest and asking him to retrieve the stones he had previously collected. Believing Gargamel had changed, Clumsy returned to the village and brought back a cart filled with rocks. However, the stones were not the diamonds Gargamel had been expecting. The wizard quickly became frustrated upon realizing the mistake. Papa Smurf quickly confronted the wizard, exposing what investigators would later confirm was a scheme to gain the Smurfs' trust and obtain access to the cave's diamonds. Despite being exposed, Gargamel made one final proposal: a trade. Diamonds in exchange for some nice things. Some of the Smurfs were willing to consider the offer. A meeting was scheduled for the following day at noon by the river. Investigators now believe this meeting was never intended to be an exchange. It was a trap. At the scheduled time, the Smurfs arrived at the river with a cart carrying the diamonds. Gargamel was already waiting. The wizard presented a sack that he claimed contained the items promised in the trade, but when the Smurfs looked inside, the sack was empty. Moments later, the deception became clear. Gargamel used the sack to capture the Smurfs, attempting to seize both them and the diamonds in a single move. However, investigators would later determine that Papa Smurf had anticipated the betrayal. As Gargamel attempted to dispose of the captured Smurfs by throwing the sack into the river, Papa Smurf activated a prepared spell, switching the contents of the two bags. When Gargamel lifted what he believed to be the diamonds, the Smurfs fell out instead. The diamonds had already been thrown into the river. Realizing what had happened, Gargamel attempted to recover them, but by then, the evidence was already lost. Witness reports indicate the wizard was later seen swimming down the river in an apparent attempt to locate the missing stones. Investigators believe the wizard searched the river for several minutes before abandoning the effort. The diamonds were never recovered. The Smurfs returned safely to the village. The suspect fled the scene. What followed would later be entered as one of Gargamel's most elaborate schemes. Crimes include attempted kidnapping during a fraudulent exchange, deception and manipulation in an attempt to acquire the village's diamonds, staging false acts of assistance to gain the victim's trust, attempted theft of diamonds from the cave deposit, fleeing the scene after the exchange collapsed. The events were later documented in the official case file. To this day, the case remains unresolved. Thank you for watching Saturday Morning Crime. If you found this investigation interesting, like the video and subscribe for more case files.